again tonight, and to Peck, thank you for our second year running now in joining forces to recognize and celebrate our heroes of environmental excellence in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Very much appreciate your honoring those who work so hard for all of us. So most of you know, I kind of happen to know one or another Nobel Prize winners. No, I'm not thinking of him. I'm thinking of another Nobel Prize winner that maybe some of you tuned into as well, especially all of us in the shared commitment to our environment. So Wangari Maathai. Well, Wangari I got to know back in the days of working with then Senator Gore in the Senate, and I got to know her because a friend of hers introduced me to this woman who had dared to stand up against the bulldozers in the last green space in Nairobi, Kenya, up against Daniel Arap Moi, one of the most corrupt and brutal dictators in the world. And she had dared to stand up because that green space was one of the only places that people could go with their families and enjoy a little. And she was bound and determined that a 60-foot statue to Daniel Arap Moi was not going to take over that park. But he was bound and determined that her home would be destroyed, her office ransacked, that she would be brutally beaten, and that prison would be her home. And I came to know her during those days, but up against the odds, she not only herself walked free, but now launched one of the biggest movements that, true to the theme of this room, puts people to work on behalf of conservation, the Greenbelt movement, but at the same time has been the best balm to Kenya's economy, because the trees planted stopped the soil that otherwise was blowing away in the civil unrest. When there wasn't food, food was back because the soil was held. And so up against the odds, she's a Nobel Prize winner. But I think, while none of our awardees, because what they do is they keep their nose to the grindstone and they work so hard, would put themselves in that pantheon, I think the spirit is the same. That they went up against the odds that so many of you who are sponsoring tonight's event also go up against, and certainly Peck does, of the old jobs versus the environment versus the economy kind of approach, and beat those odds with the profits instead of just penalties, and with partnership instead of the kind of polarization we've seen for so long. And geez, if the primary didn't get tiresome, that idea gets tiresome to me. But our honorees in conserving our water resources and putting a spotlight on one part of our state in Pike County that is a treasure, in investing in energy efficiency, in reducing energy bills and cleaning up the environment. Our awardees are all about can-do and community and moving us forward. Now, I guess the thought that I want to emphasize though tonight is why I think in this day and age, that spirit is genuinely priceless to us. If you remember when we gathered last year for Peck's first inaugural Shining a Light and honoring our Environmental Excellence awardees, the world had just changed 2 or 3 days before the event, and we had heavy hearts because of the loss of life at Virginia Tech. But if you remembered, we gathered our spirit and said, but that's all the more reason why we're here. Because we're calling forth and identifying and celebrating the better angels of our nature. And we better do that, because it's important to remember all the good that's there as well. I think we've got a tough challenge coming, and I think we could see it even this summer. Whether it is a price issue or a scarcity issue, I'm not sure which it'll be. It might be a combination. It will test our inventiveness, it will test our creativity, and it will test whether it is the better angels of our nature that come forward or whether it is, as a Shell economist warned this morning again on WICF, a scramble for supply. That's their forecast now. Related to that, I saw the Chinese electricity minister directing Chinese utilities get about full vertical integration, no more buying feedstocks by the feedstock company, lock it up. We will be tested. But all of you represent the spirit, the enterprise, the inventiveness that say that challenge will bring forth our best days of partnership and creativity and determination to always make the whole a sum of our collective hearts and spirit and best efforts. And that's what PEC is about. It's what all of the sponsors here have been about. And I know you all agree with me in saying and knowing that it is indeed what our honorees are about. In your hands, America's days and the planet's days are bright. Thank you very, very much.